Hello. Hello. Welcome to my wonderful dev playthrough of Saving the Besties. I'm Flying Moose, aka the wonderful creator of this beautiful game. Um, in honor of its anniversary, which should be today, if everything goes according to plan. Today should be the anniversary of me publishing this game onto my itch.io page. I'm going to be recording this little playthrough just to give some of my insights on the game's development, some of my thoughts on some stuff. All of that fun extra knowledge about this game. Alongside that, I'm also going to be posting the final update to the game ever, which will be a web version that can be played through my itch.io page, just in case, if perchance someone like you who's watching this happens to find this game on itch.io, thinks it may look interesting, but doesn't want to download it. Boom, play it right through my itch.io page. Right out the gate, this is going to contain spoilers for the entirety of the game, as well as some of the secrets and all that. So this is supposed to be a companion to Saving the Besties after you have finished playing it. However, I do also understand that maybe not a lot of people have played it in the first place, so if you haven't played it, I would, maybe check it out, try it out for you, to see if it's for you before, actually watching this. This little, hopefully, two-part dev playthrough, that's what I'm hoping. If need be, we can split it up into 3, I don't know, depends on how long we're going to take. But yes, I would highly recommend playing Saving the Besties first. If not, I obviously can't force you. Maybe after watching this, or watching however much of it you watch, you'll get more incentivized to check it out. Because it's free to play on my itch.io page, wink wink, nudge nudge. Anyways, let's go ahead and start actually talking about the game. Saving the Besties. This, as stated on my itch.io page, is a game made for my besties. Some of my best friends that I've known for the past 6 years or so now, which is weird. I made this game 2 years ago, I made this game technically 3 years ago. It was published 2 years ago as of today. Hopefully, to pay, homage to a lot of things I enjoy, a lot of things my friends enjoy. This game was made for me and my friends. But at some point, I decided, I spent so much time on this game, I could just throw it up on my itch.io page, why not? And before that and ever since then, this game has always just been really special to me. I have a lot to say about it. So, without further ado, let's actually jump into me talking about Saving the Besties things. So, first things first, let's start off with this title screen. This title screen went through, I think, just a couple iterations. Hopefully I can show what the first iteration looked like on the screen. It was like the three besties, and they were like all drippy. I don't know what I was doing, I was just messing around. It looked kind of cool, I guess, but it was mostly just placeholder. I always knew that I wanted to remake it. Let's actually play the gosh darn game. Why don't we? I'm gonna largely skip through dialogue pretty fast, assuming that you've played the game. You've already read this. I will be reading the dialogue, not out loud, obviously. So I will be pausing in between dialogue just to read over it. but I'm not gonna like sit here and read out the dialogue aloud. Unfortunately, my throat would be not very happy with me after I did that. So yes, to start out, obviously, me and the besties are playing Among Us. We get Engine mentioned, not skipping on 4. I should probably mention Moose in this game is intended to be me, or at least a representation of me. So these are my besties. The winners, James and Michael. Michael goes for a washroom speedrun. That was something that he would do. He would say he would go for a washroom speedrun and then go use the bathroom as quickly as he can. Sounds kind of bad phrasing it like that, but you know what I mean. We see over. Yeah, so achievements. I'm not going to get all of them, which you need for the Overachiever achievement, just because some are more time consuming than others, and some I just feel like I don't have any insight into. The sound effect. The footstep sound effect is so loud. And, you know, not a footstep at all. But it's kind of special to me, honestly, so. Just like that dialogue there, I poke at the sprites I have available to me a lot. Almost every sprite I use in this game that's not credited at the end of the game is just a base RPGMaker sprite. So there wasn't a sprite for the back of a TV, so I just used the TV pointed downwards. Fursuits, right? We learn a little bit about Michael himself in the opening of the game. Michael's in school, he likes drawing. He's sort of in the furry fandom, it would seem. He likes Halloween. We learn about Fathead and Lance with some pretty on-the-nose foreshadowing. This is, once again, me reminding you for the last time that if you don't want to get spoiled, I'm spoiling the entire game right now. 3, 2, 1, spoiling. Very obvious spoilers to the fact that Fathead and Lance are going to end up working together once we get there. And just some fun poking at Lance and Fathead's like real-life counterparts, who are real, Michael's real cat and real dog. Once again, I'm poking at the bathtub sprite there. We'll come across that again later. Small brown stain. Funny reference to that one Chills video. Is that Chills? I think it's Chills. Whoever. Yeah, it's definitely Chills, where he says,
"If I saw that damn thing in my living room, I'd stomp on it until it was
a small brown stain. This was rewritten in an update that I made trying to get the game finalized for published to itch.io, because it did not originally have that follow-up at the end, but I realized that that might just come out of nowhere to people if the babies in the basement might just come out of nowhere to people if I don't add a follow-up to it. 3 in the afternoon. We'll keep that in mind. Some more foreshadowing, although this is actually true as well. James did get Michael's mom into Stray Kids. Weather hasn't been the best recently. I'll go ahead and touch on that right now. The Swagmobile. One of my favorite things in games is continuity. I love whenever a world feels cohesive in a game, and thus the stuff like the time and the weather not being the best recently are two examples of that. Obviously, there's going to be way more examples once we actually get into Methland. It's going to be a crazy sentence if you've not played this game, but to be honest, I don't even know the people who live here very well. Interesting. Achievement numero uno. Shagmobile Chronicles. This one's supposed to be sort of like an introduction to the achievements. It's supposed to get you to be like, hey, there are achievements in this game, since it's pretty easy to obtain. This got back here. Guess it was pretty windy yesterday. Maybe it got blown off of something. Just like I said, with the weather, I love whenever a game world can sort of like associate with itself, I guess. When everything flows together into a perfect little package. I want everything to make sense in some sort of context, you know. At this point in time, I will mention that. Will I mention that? Or will I wait? I will mention that. This game has a secret ending, and you can get the secret ending before this point in the game, is what I will tell you. So, if you discover this video and you want to find that, go off. Fatheads, right. Oh yeah, Michael's sprite is an updated version. Michael's real world sprite. It was not always like that. However, Fathead and Lance's sprites did stay the same. I just made the quality better on them. I thought they looked alright. Michael's first version of his sprites, I did not like them at all. So, I definitely wanted to redo those. 3 Chug Jugs. Obviously from Fortnite. Just thought it was funny. I don't really play a lot of Fortnite myself, but my friends are pretty big into it. Here, gamer parts. Fathead wink wink nudge nudging you to save the game. I have a bunch of save files here because I'm playing this through RPGMaker. Obviously, I say obviously, this is a reference to the first Sonic movie trailer, where Sonic says, meow. Okay, we've kind of got through, like, a lot really quickly. Hopefully I can, like, chill here for a minute. There was kind of a lot to talk about in the opening. Snoop Dogg. This game was unfortunately made because before Snoop Dogg became very blatant with his MAGA associations. So yeah, Snoop Dogg's here. You can get a bunch of info about the areas. I'm not going to do that because I obviously know everything. We can talk about the items a little. Twitter. Fire extinguisher. This fire extinguisher is a reference to one of the biggest inspirations for this game, Toilet in Wonderland, the RPGMaker game. I love that game to death, and it heavily inspires Saving the Besties. I will hopefully be putting a picture of the Toilet in Wonderland fire extinguisher right now on screen for you. This this item, I had to rewrite Snoop Dogg's text for her because it made it sound like I, the creator, was like conservative. Obviously, me and my friends obviously know I'm not, and anyone who's played the entire game obviously would know that I'm not. But people who just got to this point in the game obviously would not know. So yeah, I wanted to fix that. Thank you, Ricky, for really opening my eyes to that.
This is a video of that one Ben Shapiro guide. It ranges all of your enemies. Huh?
Okay, anyways. Life Jam. Omori reference. One of my favorite RPGs recently released. Really love Omori. I think I make a few references to it in this game. The moms and their daughters. The moms and their daughters are pretty clearly themed around flowers, or at least their names are. That was very purposeful. You've got Dahlia, and then Marigold, and their daughters, Jasmine and Lavender. I just thought it was fun theming. Not really any use to it. This is just a stupid interaction. I wanted to make my game world feel like really full. So I wanted to make sure there were a lot of like little touches like that throughout, everywhere. This dialogue is unfortunately a little confusing because I only use one single sprite, because there only is one for the text portrait. Whenever it switches between the two characters is when the text box shrinks. I was trying to use that to make it a little easier to understand, but I don't think it translates super well. The knights were added in a later update of the game before I published the game to itch.io. It was a pretty big update in which I had to flesh out the world a bit more. As I keep mentioning, I breezed right through that fight, but I can talk a little bit more about that in a second.
Hey guys,
whenever I get another.
Very excited about today's video. A huge thanks to Lenovo for giving
This
me their
is
amazing
a
brand new phone.
reference to Jack's films.
The world's first
It's a very common
Tango.
meme on his channel about his video Jack to the Future, which is a sponsorship for Lenovo. This is a line pulled directly from it. I'm the Jack's Films fan here. So, fighting, yes. I didn't really intend for the game to have fighting whenever I was like very, very first planning it, but when I discovered it was a base thing in RPGMaker, I thought it would be fun. I can talk about Michael's abilities a little. Serial murdering, we got Michael Myers. We know that Michael's a fan of Halloween from his room, so that makes sense. We got an Among Us, Amogus reference here. Bum 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 bum. Bum bum bum. And let's keep going. Okay, these guys can be killed with one serial murdering, so I don't feel the need to run away. Fun fact, this is the only time that I ever mention the fact that guarding gives you MP. Which is probably unwise, because that's a pretty important gameplay mechanic, and if I were to remake this game, I would probably make it more clear to the player. And grab this gear part, because why not? Hi, Sequoia. Sequoia was one of the first few original characters that I made. Probably the character that I got the most in depth with in terms of the conversation you have. At the time, I believe I just thought it was a fun idea for the character named Sequoia to hear that a lot, that she loves trees. A little bit of fun irony. I don't know how obvious this ended up being, but this is a lost joke at the top of the screen. I don't know if... I think the only people who have ever noticed this are the people that have pointed it out to purposefully, so... That being said, not a lot of people have played this game. Obviously that dialogue is supposed to be just a little tutorial to armors and weapons. Cocaine. Our first cocaine. I don't actually know what this sprite is, I'm not gonna lie. A lot of the things I use in this game, I just used because I had them at my disposal through RPGMaker. Like, for example, this pillar just being a character with dialogue. This sign was actually added in a later update. I was trying to get the player to sort of more clearly understand where they needed to go, or sort of nudge them in that direction at least, with the question mark mansion. It's sort of supposed to be like a wink wink nudge nudge, hey, you want to get over here. Because I think a lot of the problems that people have had with this game, I saw that a lot with the streamers that I got to play it. Shoutouts to Riggy and Hawk Zombie right now. They didn't really know exactly where they need to be going at this point in the game. So I wanted to add that sign to maybe help a little. This guy is a big creepypasta. Big creepypasta joke with Jeff the Killer. Comical pasta rather than creepypasta. I always found the name creepypasta kind of silly, so I sort of funded it here. I'm sure the idea of creepypasta is probably older than me and its name, so kind of silly for me to be poking fun at it, but it's my game. In large part, I I wrote a lot of these storylines sort of just as I was making the game. Like, if I remember correctly, I didn't actually know how I wanted to resolve this storyline with Paige and Harley whenever I first... Just a cute little interaction here. Whenever I first started writing it, like whenever I wrote that and this dialogue once I get down to the bottom, I didn't really know how I wanted to end the storyline. I was just kind of like bullshitting my way through and letting it come naturally to me. Yes, I named the character who likes to read Paige. I'm so subtle, aren't I? In this dialogue, Michael mentioned Christine. Michael was always a big fan of Cujo. Specifically, out of Stephen King stuff. I like Duff. Which okay. This storyline is surprisingly more in-depth than you would expect. As you know, or as you may not know, you can find all three of the siblings in the 3 different areas, and Moose's area, aka me, Mom Nurse's area, and James's area. And depending on which order you talk to them, they will talk differently about the different siblings. I planned this out more than I needed to, that's for sure. Alright. Okay, let's go get the flower. Gravestone. The gravestone I thought was a silly little interaction. The idea of a gravestone that really wants you to pay respects to the person that's buried there, except they don't even know who it is. Fun little dichotomy. Hi, Fabian. Fun fact about this part, I have a check to see if the player has 500 V-Bucks, even though it would be very, very difficult at this point in the game, although technically possible if you just grinded out enemy encounters. Michael says something along the lines of, I'm not spending that kind of money, or something. I wanted to add a lot of extra little detail like that, just to make my game feel, you know, really, like, alive, I guess. More polished. Borrow some of the fence. Alright, let's go do that. Sure. I wonder how many V-Bucks I have on. Probably a decent amount. Bottle of milk. Which was actually not in the very, very first version of the game. I added it as an item later just because I felt like it made sense to have one item that randomly appears, or one item that appears more often throughout the game that heals you, the cocaine, and one item that regenerates your MP, which would be the milk. Go off. Case in here. Fun fact, there is a hidden line of cocaine in this trash can as well. These are the developer insights that really matter. The secret line of cocaine. That guy's really just watching them kiss from a completely different building. This is a reference to the movie Morbius, which I doubt anyone is gonna get. Me and my friends watched that one night, and it was like the wildest movie ever. There's a scene where Jared Leto and the main love interest are kissing on a building, and the main antagonist is literally just on another building watching them. And we thought it was like the funniest thing. So I wanted to mention that. That's the guy that I came across earlier, who I didn't really mention. I can also go up here really quick, although I can't go this way. I'm just gonna... Okay. Let's go to the mansion, which, for those unaware, is a massive Awoni reference. The RPGMaker game with the big pearl-headed guy. I'll give a shout out to Lemon Rose right now, who, upon us playing the game for the first time, immediately recognized this exterior. Good for you, you go girl. Alright, let's get inside. That's why Michael says this line. Because this Awoni's a game that we all enjoy. The mansion is an exact recreation of it, as best I could. There is a plate shard here in the original game. That's the library door that I need to get into, but I did want to just go around first. This is at the end of the trailer for the game. Little Undertale reference there. Shout out Undertale. Obviously one of my biggest inspirations. Indirectly. Just something that's massively influenced me in like everything I do, basically. Let's go ahead and grab the key really quick. Poke a little fun about how hard it is to find in the original game. I do that a little throughout. Nada en estos. I poke fun at the Awoni Mansion a little throughout my version of it. There's also this up here. Sounds like somebody's in there. I should probably leave them be. for the real Aoni fans, this right here is where there's a map of the mansion drawn on the wall. And here, if you could look really closely, there's a little, like, indent on the wallpaper. If you've collected the plate shard, like I just did, you can open the wall, and you get Hiroshi's scarf. There's an Aoni character, and an achievement for it. Go ahead and equip it. You can't become enraged. And I also got the achievement. Let's go into library. This is where the player first encounters Aoni in Aoni. I guess spoilers for Aoni. Didn't even think about mentioning that. Spoilers for a lot of things I'm going to be talking about, like Toilet Wonderland as well. Let's get goopy. Goop. I thought it was fun to have an item that sort of just like sits in your inventory for the entirety of the game, seemingly doing nothing. But then maybe at the end it'll come into play? Who knows? I know, and you know, play the game. You, I'm talking to you that's watching this right now. We're having a conversation right now. I'm talking to you, Jennifer. I don't know why I chose Jennifer. If there's a Jennifer that's watching this, shout out, I guess. Here I am. This does not really look like me. Which I poke fun at later in the game. The character representations don't really look like any of us. It's because I was limited in my character creation. Fun fact about this, the sprite I made for Moose, and all of the other bosses, these sprites stayed the exact same throughout the entire creation of Saving the Besties. These were the original boss sprites I made for them, and I thought they looked fine, so I never bothered to change them, because I liked how they look. Same is true for the Fat-Headed Lance boss sprite, as well as the sprite for the secret boss. If you know, you know. Man, this boss fight is so easy now. This boss fight went through so many iterations. At many points, it was very difficult. Like, whenever I had Jay, who was my main playtester, play it the first time, shout out Jay. This fight was very, very difficult because when I first created Saving the Besties, I initially expected the player to be able to go to any of the locations that they wanted to start out, like to my area, or to Luminos's area, or to James's area. So I made all the boss fights the same difficulty. Obviously that's not true anymore. So yeah, in the very first version of the game that Jay played, I didn't bother to change the difficulty of my boss fight, so it was like impossible. But even alongside that, it went through several other different variations of like the enemies that are here, and like the percent chance that my tornado attack has to give Michael confused, all that stuff. Anyways. Alright. I have joined the party, which is going to allow me to go to Lumrose's area. Over here, we can talk about my attacks a little. I'm very much intended to be a support type of party member. None of my attacks are really references to anything, just general stuff for buffing my allies, plus Tornado, well, even though it doesn't do that much damage. Oh, go ahead and finish this place that I started with. Come on. That should be enough. Yeah, most definitely. Alright. I'm just gonna leave. I said... I'm just gonna leave. Okay. More of the Paige and Harley storyline. Like I said, I believe at this point in the game, I didn't really know how I was going to end that storyline, which is really funny to me because it feels like very neatly packaged by the point of its conclusion. And I think I thought that as well whenever I was making it. I was like, oh, that's perfect. I can't believe that I didn't have this entirely planned out. You are, Fabi. You are. What do we want to do here before we go to Luminous' area? Anything? You talk to Jeff, I guess. There's a lot of... sorry to interject my own comment. Some more creepypasta references here. References to the creepypasta Bend Around and Candle Cove. Anyways, to finish my thought. There's a lot of new dialogue in every area after you add the new party member. So like, for example, there's a lot of new dialogue now that I have Boost in my party. For instance, I can talk to Death. I really like that dialogue. I think it's really cute, so I wanted to make sure I point that out in this playthrough. Bum 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 bum. Alright, do we want to talk to Sequoia? We can talk to Sequoia before we go. Hi, Sequoia. Forgot how short that dialogue was. Oh, right. Rescue Jeffrey. Me questioning Michael talking to inanimate objects, like that's not the whole gimmick of this world. Gardening gloves. Must make a cute little comment there about how Michael was justified with the plant. Alrighty. Let's open this box. I might hold off to go back to Lost and Found until after James's area, because I'm gonna have to come back here. So. I will go ahead and do the traffic cone though, so I can get a bunch of V-Bucks for that. I pitched in on that conversation because I'm the Jackson Holmes fan here. Makes sense. Traffic cone has been returned to his parents. 50 V-Bucks. And I got an achievement for it. Wow. Moms will come back to you probably quite a bit later, I'm not gonna lie. Edith name drop there. I'm gonna buy some Life Jam. Probably. I don't actually know how many V-Bucks I have though. I should have enough for Life Jam though. I still have 190 left. Let's buy some hand sanitizer too. And we can talk to Fathead again. Anytime you recruit a new party member, Fathead gains new dialogue. Once again, just trying to make this game feel as polished as possible. So let's go to Lemon Rose's area. We'll get through that, and then hopefully we can finish off this part of the dev playthrough, I mean. Hi. I'll be honest, almost no one that I've had play this game fell for this facade, and very obviously knew that it was hair, but I thought this was a cute little interaction. Got Gary. Hi, Gary. Let's go ahead and peaceful. Something about wind benches that peaceful. Let's talk to the math bull. Right. Bull. Math bull. I thought this was a fun character. I like this guy. No. Okay. Obvious reference here to the infamous Vine.
21.
Michael even, yeah, Michael even points it out. If I remember correctly, yeah. Algebraist is a real word for some reason. I mean, I guess that makes sense. I thought it would be really funny if the last question in this quiz was like the most absurd thing possible, and I was taking a physics class way back in the day when I was writing this question. So I thought it'd be fun. I had a lot of questions like this in my physics class, so and I, of course, because this question is stupid, wanted to add like a sort of pseudo like bailout, that being peanut butter. Fun fact, there is a correct answer, and you do get all of the V-Bucks for it. Alright, let's... Thank you, chickens. Got this hole? Sure. Ouchie. A thought crossed my mind of making that a permanent debuff to health, just because of how inconsequential it is. To take that damage whenever this meat is right here. But I'm not that evil, so I did not do that. This, if it wasn't apparent, is the commander that the knights were talking about in my area, or Moose's area, I guess. There's more dialogue with them, him and them. We'll get back around to it eventually. This is a reference to the masterpiece that is Celeste, which, if you, I'm talking to you, is listening right now, have not played. And enjoy platformers, which I would highly recommend. Fantastic game. Should we talk to Sequoia's family? Where should we go? We'll talk to Sequoia's family. Hey guys. This was sort of foreshadowed by Sequoia's dialogue earlier. She mentions her family back in Luminosa's garden. I love me some foreshadowing. There's a lot of it in this game. Very, very obvious foreshadowing, too, in a lot of instances. Michael brings this up because she did actually say that. Sequoia says, I'm sure Carter would say something about her big dumb trees, and that is what he does. I love these guys. I win Monopoly every time, though. Which is, we'll come back around to that eventually. This is a reference to Stranger Things, Season 4. I never watched Season 5, spoilers. But I watched Season 4 as it aired. And was making Saving the Besties around then. Let's talk with these guys. I really liked writing these guys' dialogue and developing the whole family dynamic between them all. This one in particular, I remember being really, really happy once I finished writing those. Just because it felt like, it really did feel like a story that an old lady would tell you, you know, about her kid. They're cute. Busy getting busy. That's my man. Eleanor. Tell her she says hi. Maybe we'll do that. Sneaky lamp in the corner. Michael brings up the fact that he does cocaine quite often throughout the game just because I thought it was funny. Obviously that's not true. Michael, if you're listening to this. But Michael just being like a fiend for cocaine and saving the besties is a joke that I play a lot. Here I'm also bringing up the fact that our character sprites don't really look anything like us, as well as making a nod to Markiplier with Michael's pink hair, the water-filled bathtubs, and the toilet paper. This is a reference to the critical. Woo! Yeah, baby! That's what I'm waiting for. That's pretty terrible, I'm not gonna lie to you. But I tried, okay. So I thought that counts. Doggy's house. We'll get back to that once we have Laura's in the party. Let's talk to Carmen and Diego. This dialogue is pretty funny in hindsight, I'm not gonna lie. Because Carmen literally just folds under no pressure. But and then we become like besties with her immediately. I think that I want to believe that I'm better at writing nowadays. I do, but there is also a very sneaky spot over here, way off in the corner, which I think has milk in it. The other rest, okay. And this log over here. Let's go talk to Diego. At this time of day and this part of the country, localized entirely within my kitchen. Yes. Alrighty. Let's grab this camera part real quick. I do love cashews, that is true. It is factually correct. I am cashew fiend. I did want to mention that dialogue because it will come up later. Yes. Yes, Carmen. Instead of getting two random teenagers to do it, maybe you should have talked to your damn husband on your own. Just kidding, Carmen, I love you. Let's go see Ramsey. Hi, Ramsey. Ramsey. Oh, it was so fun to write for this guy. I'm not gonna lie. Probably some of the funnest dialogue that I wrote. Rager Ramsey. I should probably buy something. So I do have some gamer parts. Goodbye. Get a sword. I think I only have 2 gamer parts if I remember correctly. Or maybe 3. Oh well, whatever. How many do I have? I have 2 gamer parts. Oh wow, 2 more. Alright, let's give the weapon to B. What is the description for that? Right. Welcome back to Ramsey's Dildo Emporium. Don't think I have enough for it. Ramsey's mom is never shown in game, obviously, but I wanted to add a little allusion to her just to add a little more depth to the character. You know, Ramsey's not just he's a lot of sex jokes, but Ramsey's not just sex jokes. He is a real person, and I wanted to make sure that that was evident. Obvious little FNAF reference here to William Afton, Mr. Purple Guy. Can't do anything about that yet. Log. There are a few references here, so... Welcome to the Underground. This is a reference to Story of Undertale. The fan song by I don't remember the name is. Sorry. I'll put it on screen. What should we choose, actually? Let's go. Skedaddle, my guy. See you in brighter pastures. There's some fun dialogue here if you interact with them. On a cook and a bottle of milk. Rat, I'm a rat. We're the rats. This is our German reference. To his... I'll be honest, I'm not a watcher of German, but, you know, he's sort of important to me and my friend group. But it's a reference to his... rat zone. Get out of here. Alright. Get out of here, Carmen. Oh, I can't believe I didn't even mention it. Carmen and Diego, of course, is a reference to Carmen Sandiego, and only name. I just thought it was silly. Well, well, well. Let's go to the hedge maze. And by that I mean let's not go to the hatch maze yet because we still have the riddle left. South of a calming space, you go through the bushes. Inside of a flowery space is where what you seek is. Not a potted bouquet but smaller, in a place one can see. Not a coat of $19, but instead more tree. Who wants it? And yes, I'm giving it away. Reference to the infamous $19 Fortnite card video. Who wants it?
Who wants it?
And yes, I'm giving it away. So remember, share, share, share. Anyways, the answer to the riddle is in this flower right here. If you weren't able to figure it out and have come to this video to figure out how to get it. The reason that is the answer, below a calming space, this bunch each row through the bushes. Inside of a flower space is where what you seek is. Not a full bouquet, but smaller. In a place the swan can see. Not a card of $19, but instead one of tree. That meaning the trees create a 19 here. They create the number 19. The pattern of them. Anyways, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Do the hedge maze. And I'm kind of gonna speedrun it probably, because there's a few things in here that I kind of want to see. The Well of Wisdom here is just a fun little place for me to post my takes on some common conundrums, I guess. Stuff like biting ice cream, if cereal is soup, let's see, boneless wings, if hot dogs are sandwiches, stuff like that. There's a whole bunch of them. And there may be something special if you hear all of them, wink wink nudge nudge. Let's go and interact with that. I really love that interaction. That's one of my favorite jokes in the entirety of Saving the Besties, I'm not gonna lie. Congratulations on the tetanus. We do want to grab the rope. Which is that here? Okay, perfect. Now we can get out of here. Actually, there's a box in the maze that I'm gonna get. No, it's over here. What's in the box? As a reference to the movie 7. Literally no one that has played this game has gotten that reference. So it's just V-Bucks and book the whole time. That's nice. Originally that follow-up dialogue was a lot more blatant. I literally wrote like, oh cool, it wasn't spoilers, spoiler alert for 7. It wasn't like my wife's severed head after all, or whatever. But for the people that didn't get the reference, that kind of just like comes out of nowhere. So I wanted to fix that. Untrampled. Oh boy, we've got some fun stuff here. Mario has logged in. This is going to be very fast-paced, and so I'll talk a little bit about it before I get straight into it. This is another Twilight in Wonderland reference to one of the most infamous scenes in which Mario quote-unquote logs in and begins mercilessly slaughtering the protagonist over and over again. Side note, if you perchance enjoy Saving the Besties, if that's possible, I just recommend checking out Toilet in Wonderland either way. That game is a transformative experience. It's absolutely fantastic. Um, and the Mario scene is one of the most infamous scenes, so I wanted to pay homage to it here. There they are. They're swarming. I don't know how obvious it was, but in that area, the flowers on the ground are intended to help you figure out which path you need to go. Don't go the ferns. Go towards the flowers. I really love that scene. Is just so fun. I'll always love how that scene turned out. That little gameplay portion. And fun fact, it didn't actually go through that many changes. I nerfed it a tiny little bit. Mario's warming out enough. Alright. Let's do the Luminous boss fight. Sorry, the lightning. This fight did not go through very many changes. I went through just a few, like, buffs and nerfs, but no, like, big enemy changes, like my boss fight did. Okay, let's use, Twinkle Breeze to get rid of my poison. Okay, well... Oh! Luminous tried to poison me, or Moose, I guess. But I have the, gloves on, so I can't be poisoned. Michael is not doing too well. I might use a line of cooking, actually. Start buffing Michael up. Confused, that's unfortunate. I could use the hand sanitizer, but it's a little bit of a waste. Ouch. That didn't actually end up saving all that much time. I'm poisoned again, so just attack. Okay, one more skill murdering and that should be enough. So we're gonna go about doing this. Let's do that and then use another line on Michael. That's rather unfortunate for him. Hopefully that doesn't kill him. If it does, I have life jam. Okay, cool. Okay. Oh, I forgot to give myself the sword. I'm confused, that's okay, because I think we should be able to finish the fight right now. Oh my god. Oh no, please. Okay. That fight is not that hard if you play it safer. I just kind of wanted to get it over with as quickly as I could. Wow. Loners has a lot of weird dreams. that she talks about a lot. So that's why she thinks she's streaming here. James. Milk. Michael is the milk guy. Michael is the connoisseur of milk. In real life, I mean. Michael does love milk. This dialogue right here is also a reference to the game Don't Starve. You can pluck flowers to get extra sanity points. Grass knuckles. Michael's dead, I forgot. It's okay. Give this to owners, I guess. Oh, I got the nurse gown. Nurse has a healing ability. Spoiler alert. Shouldn't be a spoiler alert if you play the game, but... So, she can sort of be the healer. Yeah, let's go ahead and do this. Fun fact, the Mario positions change here. No. I'm washed, truly. The Mario positions change here because I'm trying to force the player to... Oh, I didn't equip all that stuff. No, I didn't get the items either. The Mario positions change because I'm trying to get the player to use Luminosa's ability, just to get it sort of like ingrained on them. Let's just go ahead and save here. I shouldn't die again. I'm not that washed, hopefully. But oh god. Okay. I will go ahead and propose it now. There is a secret at the top right of this area, if you can get past all those Marios that come out. So, props to you if you can get over there. Let's finish up Luminosa's area, and then that's where we'll end off this part of the playthrough, I think. It's been quite a while. I'm tired. Just have to speedrun this maze really quick. Wow, I'm so good at mazes. I totally don't have that just ingrained into me or anything. Or if the Paige and Harley plus Fabian and Ramsey storyline coming to fruition here. If you weren't aware, whenever asked by Harley what the type is, Fabian and Ramsey both describe each other. Ramsey, for example, describes someone who is dedicated to their work, who isn't necessarily the coolest or the smartest, just someone that believes in themselves, which is exactly how we describe Fabian. And then Paige responds by saying, yep, Paige is exactly those things, when she's obviously not. Get out of here, Paige. Sure, I've seen you somewhere. Wonder where. Let's get hard while handling it. That's Ramsey, alright. Get out of here, you two. My boys. Those are my boys. I'm stupid, I thought that was me. I need to sleep, I guess. Hi, Madeline. I completely ran past this. So while I'm here, I might as well go ahead and use the rope to help get these kids out of the hole. Alright. Obviously, these are the kids that the moms and Moose's area we're looking for. I'm not going to go get the moms just yet. I'll probably get around to that later. But we will. So back to Doggy's house. Doggy is another friend of ours, who I haven't talked to in quite a while. I'm sorry, Doggy. I hope you're doing well if you're watching this. At the time of this, he was big at the Stumble Guys. The Fall Guys, quote-unquote, ripoff. Alright. Fuck. And you get an achievement for that. Is there anything else to do here? There's some other fun dialogue here now that I have Lemoners in the party. Like I can talk to the chickens again. I'll go ahead and do that, and maybe that's where I want to. Let's get back to... Oh yeah, I mentioned that the swan is named Gary earlier. This is where it's... where it's stated in game. Alrighty, let's get back to Fathead. I could spend my money in Snoop Shop, but I don't really can do that at the start of the next part. Hi, Fathead! Some more not so subtle foreshadowing, but at the same time we do joke that Fathead is a menace. And Michael's bringing up of the time that he chewed through his extension cord is true. That did actually happen. Oh, while I'm here, I think to mention it. The crossroads is shaped like an Amogus. A crewmate from Among Us. I didn't even think to mention it because it's so ingrained in me that I'm not even used to thinking about it. But yeah, with that out of the way, I think this is a good stopping point. Next part of this playthrough, we will hopefully get through all of James's area and Lance's area, aka the ending, plus go around to the other areas and tie up some loose ends, and then finish off the game. So that will be fun. I will see you then.